Radio on Super Talk 1270. Now, here's Travis Feist and Rob McLeod.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Unriveted, a Dakota Customs original podcast. I'm your host, Travis Feist, and with me, and always, is my co-host, Mr. Rob McLeod.
And always.
I
don't think I've ever missed one.
Well, I hope not. I don't think I've ever missed one either, to be honest with you.
I think it would, imagine me leading the podcast. What? I would have to cobble up there'd be a hard learning curve. You do a great job kind of just mediating and kind of liaisoning through on this. You liaison, I just yawn.
Very true. I just bring you over to eat candy. So if I need something, I just give you the look and you just like fill in. It's like, hey, I'm good.
I need you right here. Okay.
Yeah, right here. Just say something.
Yeah, I basically just come here to prospect their candy dish, and that kind of affects my entire mood for the podcast. Is they got good candy in the candy dish, and
well, I've noticed like when we do, it's like you drink their water and eat their candy. That's like your biggest objective when you come here, and you like say the least and you eat and drink the most. But hey, I guess whatever. Don't make.
Why else are we here?
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, podcast.
Podcast.
Nice.
So last weekend we had the Celebrate My Ride 3rd annual car show up at Legacy, which was the weather was pretty darn good. It
was nice.
Yeah, it was a little warm, but it was actually very tolerable.
I don't know if it was just like the buildup of doing the podcast that Friday, but for some reason, actually, I know why the prep was so hard. It was Ernesto's filthy dually that we had to get cleaned up. I think that's why. I don't know. Usually it's just like business as usual, cleaning these vehicles, getting ready to showcase them, but I was exhausted the next day.
Mm-hmm. You didn't realize how much truck there is there until you start washing it.
Oh,
that truck it's just when it quit. You know, it's funny today when I got to the shop, I was, that stand that I built for just those wood stand.
Full of scoria and clay.
So that stand that I built so that we can mock up and make those bags from my bike, which is another story. But I had it sit next to the stand, and when I went and grabbed it to move it, put those screws in it, there was like dead grasshoppers and stuff underneath that flew off of his truck from pressure washing it, and they're just all over the place now because that thing was just nasty, but it shined up good.
It did, yeah. Did a cool photo shoot with that dually and that 22 we just delivered this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I think that people love that thing.
Oh, that thing's just clean.
Just clean, proper stance. Like, I've rolled it down Main Street a few times, not because I had to take Main Street to get to where I'm just going, not just cruising Main in other people's trucks. I mean, maybe. It would be the truck to do so.
Yeah.
But just you kind of, like every time, you look in the windows,
Yeah. I believe you have directions like my mom.
Wow.
Because, like, if you're going South Washington, she'll be like, well, yeah, on your way. Well, we're on Main. So, like, on your way to South Washington, you got to go through Main. So it's, like, not even close to the same direction. But that's, like, how she talks, too. Well, on the way there, we're not even close to going in that direction. But everything's on the way, no matter what direction you're going. So I'm sure when you're going to ID Ford, which is...
Hey, man, a cruise is a cruise,
Down south, you took Main on the way to go there.
It's not like that. I'm not a time waster.
Uh-huh.
Not a time waster. I've seen enough of them to not be one.
But yet you had to go through Main to see yourself in the reflection of the windows just to check out the truck.
All right.
You got to get a good perspective.
I'll straighten you out here. I went on Main Street to get to Tint Pro,
which is still not anything. Well, yeah, you probably could go through Main to get
It's a great way to get to Tint Pro.
True. Okay.
And then when I delivered it this morning, I didn't take the interstate because it was wet and that dually sprays. So then I went down Main Street to get to 80.
Sure. Okay, I'll give you that.
Is that not reasonable?
I'll give you that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. It don't matter. You get paid no matter what.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But it is. I mean, it's
That truck was awesome.
yeah. I actually I enjoyed doing that build, but I'm also glad to see it gone because it takes up a lot of room and
Yeah,
but-
and it's so new and so nice. It's like, just get out of the shop.
yeah. Yeah.
I
And
think
that's
it's
the
sweet.
thing that's nice. I mean, we got towels all over in the inside and everything, but still, it was good to see.
Yeah,
it.
you got that light tan interior. You never know.
Yeah.
There's a couple times where one of our employees tried to jump in. I was like,
No,
no.
it's not going to happen.
Only
But
me and my church clothes can get in that rig.
Yeah. But I also
Amy.
feel.
Last night at the shop, I decided to stay late and disassemble some of my stereo and start polishing my bike. So I just had my work clothes on. And so I was working. I was working in a shop. And then Travis looks over at me. He's like, your work clothes are nicer than my church clothes. I was like, bro, you got to go to church first to have church clothes.
Yeah, I have peace with God.
That's good.
Yeah. I just do it my own way.
Just text him.
Yeah.
Hey, are we good? Yeah, sounds good.
So getting back to the show last weekend, but I also think too the build up, not only washing vehicles. I think would we leave about 10:30, 11 Friday night, getting cars washed.
Oh, yeah.
But trying
We-
to deliver 8
We got done
cars.
so late we couldn't even go eat.
I know, but I feel like trying to get 8 cars with 2 people to a car show
Yeah.
takes time. So it seems
Heaven.
like. So it seemed.
Heaven forbid.
I don't exist.
Well, you were the driver, so technically you were the chauffeur.
Has
so,
she cleaned?
so
She got down and dirty.
no, but I'm saying delivering the vehicles, driving them up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So getting them up to the show, getting the trailer set up, getting the booth set up.
Our showcase was pretty nice, though.
Yeah. It was a good show.
It was a good show.
It was
I think
a
it could.
pretty
I think it
decent-
could have went a little bit longer. Honestly,
Yeah.
as
but
much as like I was exhausted and I was just exhausted, and so I feel like I could have went a little bit longer though.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people, though, as nice as it was Saturday, because there was hardly any wind, it wasn't that hot. Like, people want to get out and still do stuff and enjoy their weekend. So I feel
I don't know,
like
I just-
that's a good time.
Yeah, I just feel like for the amount of effort we put into it, 5 hours. Yeah,
Yeah.
go longer, but whatever.
It was still a good show.
Yeah,
So I want to give a shout out to those guys
Yeah.
where they put on another good show.
it was. Yeah, smooth.
Smooth, yeah. More than
Yeah,
helpful and everything. So very good car club to work with, and even attendance wise, it was pretty decent. So yeah, so whoever did make it to that or whoever didn't, it was a good show. It was a good variety. I think there's some semis. There was I think a couple bikes there.
did you see what that blue Peterbilt had on the side? Where it says, where you're supposed to like label fire extinguisher here for DOT. It said fire putter outer.
Fire putter outer.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that was one of Delabar's.
Delabar, yeah.
So he's got a pretty nice
Yeah,
inventory.
He
of
had some
trucks.
nice. He had that.
The stub nose.
That was
Cab
Is that
over?
what the cab over?
Yeah.
What is that? Stub nose? Something? Jeez, as a trucker, you think I would know?
Yeah, they call them cab overs. I
Yeah, I know they're
think.
cab overs.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they're
I
cab
think it
overs.
was-
Yeah.
I think it was sexy. Yeah, I think it was pretty cool. So that was a good thing to get off the list. But still getting ready. Shop's been crazy. Sturgis, getting everything ready for Sturgis. Even today, as much as it's been raining and downpouring, there's still, I'm hearing bikes going by. It's insane. Those are some diehard bikers out there. So,
Rolling out.
Yeah, so whoever's going out there, stay safe and be
Yeah.
smart. Obviously the roads are wet. Be careful.
If you guys, whoever goes down there, if you see some bikes down there that are cooler than yours, well, take your bike to us and we can make it cooler than the bike you saw. So
Sure.
there's that,
Yeah, that works too.
Uh,
But I have noticed too, even lately, just driving back and forth to the shop and stopping over at the Harley store, that or driving by the Harley store, there's always bikes out front. There's always a bunch of people there. So I can about imagine even just how busy they are. And I know like, we stopped in there the other day to load up that customer's bike, and you could just tell Ben.
Super Glide was sweet.
Yeah, you could tell Ben was just stressed out. He's
yeah, he's over it.
Yeah, and those guys, I'm sure, they get just that massive rush too at the last minute. But they got a lot going on too over there at Harley, and there's always bikes sitting there. In fact, even just now coming over here, there's bikes sitting there, people stopping in there. So big Sturgis rally going on this weekend. I know a lot of people are taking off. Last night when we were working, there was quite a few bikes that went by for the ride and dine.
The ride and dine, yeah.
So that was pretty cool. But yeah, getting a lot of stuff done at the shop.
We're knocking things out left and right, and it feels good because I've got customers that are getting excited, to get their projects into our shop. So just got to keep that waiting list to, that happy medium. So it's going good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like where we're at right now. There's nothing wrong with having a 3-year waiting list, but sometimes it gets heavy knowing you got all that on you. It's a good feeling, but it's also like, I don't know, kind of pressures you a little bit, but the guy shouldn't feel pressured. Just got to do your thing each day. Mm-hmm. But
I kind of like it. We got big projects going on in the fab shop and body shop, but it's kind of nice in the main shop there having these big projects. Like we just got done, I shouldn't say just got done, but we finished that 22 Road Glide, and to me, it's, even though it's a bike, but it's still a big project. And then like soon as that one left, then we got the dually coming in, and that was like a big project to get that one out and turned, so it's kind of nice to have these these bigger projects in the main shop that, like, as soon as one gets done, it's just like another one's just showing up and taking over again, that that you can dedicate like a good month and a half on changing things up and working on it. And then it seems like once that one's about ready to leave, like just right behind, like another one just shows up, and I kind of like that routine.
Yeah, it's you can never kind of just sit back in the chair, what I've learned, because you never know who is going to call and who is going to walk in and what they're going to bring to the table. So it's like as far ahead as you can get. And like, I don't know, since I've started working for you, I've literally, I don't think I've ever been like, I don't know how to say it, but like, I don't think I've ever go search for cold sales. Not once. Mm-hmm. Neither of you. Nope. It just flows in.
All right.
So, like in a normal sales position, you go out and actively pursue new sales. I've never once had to do that. The new sales have always came to us, and I've always been taking care of the new sales that we got in, and that's just how it goes. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy. It's kind of a unique sales position.
Yeah.
When I am in a sales position.
Well, it's good to know. And even what's exciting too, it's for what we even have going on in the shop. It takes a lot of attention, and it's even like today I was talking to a client that took over that Scout project.
Yeah.
And
big things on that deal.
Yeah. And, we're kind of taking that thing to a different level, but
what did you guys talk about?
Well, we're going to do the paint scheme on the thing. We're going to keep it the orange and the cream white, like how they came.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it like in House of Color colors instead of like the single stage, like the original orange. Like we're going to put our twist in it. And I mentioned it, and he's like, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Sweet.
So it's nice having customers like that are on the same page as my way of thinking. That makes it exciting.
What are you thinking for the line, the break between the colors?
Actually, what I was thinking is like the tangerine, orange, like we
almost like-
did on Doug's motor that we painted that house of colors.
Yeah.
So it's like that metallic with a pearl orange. And then I'm thinking for the white, I'd like to actually do like the Ford truck, like
The Star White.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So that's what
pretty
I'm
color.
thinking. Like
I was-
those two.
I was talking about what are you going to use to break them?
Well, it'll just be the orange and white, but nothing with the pinch up between the two. It'll just be the orange and then that white.
Okay.
So that's what I'm thinking of so far, but which is cool because then we can paint up that motor, that really cool orange, and be polished accessories, putting that bigger LS motor in there. And
Yeah,
so-
LS3 with a 6-speed and a Scout. It's going to be sweet.
Yeah, so I'm excited to kind of take a left on that whole project and do something.
Take a right.
Well, whichever. We're not going down the same road.
We
So
should
you,
be.
You take a right. I'll take a left, but
That ain't going to work.
yeah, we'll still end up in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, we'll still
I
end
got,
up
I got
there.
GPS.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
We're snowmobilers.
That's right.
Yeah, I used to.
Man, we were talking. You might get back into it.
Yeah, I don't think so, man.
come on,
I'm
man.
I'm not 32 anymore. I'm 36. So that 4 years is really aged a guy.
Whatever, man.
Yeah. So I don't know if snowmobiling's in my physical adventure, but I don't know. I'm a warm weather guy. I think now that I'm in my 30s, I feel like that my priorities changed and it's more warm weather instead of cold.
I hear you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
But
Nothing wrong with that either.
no, but we do have a lot going on. Like I said, a lot of Sturgis stuff. There's, I don't think we got any car shows coming up. Maybe that one in Carson. I think I'm gonna might cruise down to and check out.
Yeah. So the rodeo team that we sponsor will be at that rodeo. So
That same weekend.
the same week, I'm pretty sure it's a fair weekend. Is it Morton County? No, Morton County Fair is in New Salem. That would be Grant County.
Grant.
Yeah. So maybe
If anything, a guy can ride the bikes down there and check it out for a day.
yeah, that'd be cool to drive some cars down there though. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it pans out.
Amy, you're married.
I know. I just mean I can't go out by
Right, true. Anyways.
So yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna kind of slowly roll in from one busy season to the next because we always get even busier in the winter because that's when people want their stuff worked on. Mm-hmm. So
when I know
that
we got that LS showing up too for that 37, which is nice.
shipped out Wednesday.
And we got that chassis ordered for that
Super Slam.
the Mercury.
I remember like during that whole sales process, like I was just excited, and then now like I'll sometimes like catch myself throwing through the customer list or like some of my emails. It's like, that's right, we're gonna be building the 49 Mercury. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you kind of got to be, like slightly ADHD with what we do. You got to just
Me?
well.
Or are you saying in general?
In not like you got to just like quickly move on to the next thing. That's to stay on
yeah.
top of things.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't just be like for 2 weeks like, oh yeah, we're building the 49 Mercury. Like you just like, sweet, okay, let's get on.
You got to keep your emotions deep down inside.
Always.
Yeah, always.
What are emotions?
Yeah.
Never heard of her.
That one was a tough one though. I wouldn't say trying to get the sale because that's not, I think, the correct term. But it was just because the whole time I'm looking at this guy.
It was he
we're
was
talking.
Well, no. What happened was he.
This is my story. Let me tell it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you can't tell my story.
I was about to.
No. So, like the whole time the customers are talking, and he's asking questions about the car, like our shop and how we do things and, in our process and all that. And the whole time I'm looking at him and all I'm thinking of is like building the car. Like I'm looking at the guy and I know he's talking, but in the back of my mind, I'm building his car for him already. And I'm thinking like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I'm not even really 100% paying attention to actually everything that he's asking. So I'm glad you were. But all I could think of was like, I was already building his car, and that's what I was more focused on than the actual meeting that we had, I guess I should say, because
well, I've been corresponding with this gentleman since January, December. So, and I could sense his demeanor through emails, just very professional, and he was in a very like to the point, well-spoken, very mild-mannered, tamed, like very tame. And I feel like I had to still earn his trust, even though like he drove 6 hours to come meet us. And I feel like, you can never just, and I still.
But the thing is, like, he didn't just drive 6 hours to meet you. Like, he's been emailing you for months, asking hundreds of questions.
Oh, yeah,
like, it wasn't just 3 emails. Like, there was multiple emails.
And they were big.
Ton of questions. And then he drove up here for 6 hours, and we were still interviewing.
Yeah, he was still feeling us out. But, here's where I was, when I cut into your story. He had one of his pieces of equipment, or I don't know if it was a vehicle or what, but he had it at a shop, and the shop burned down or something like that. He had an accident happen while his property was somewhere else, so that's why I think he was still a little bit scarred from that. So he was just made him more aware. Mm-hmm. So I think he was doing his due diligence, and
I think he learned a lot off of that.
Yeah, he probably doesn't want to go through that again. I'm sure it sucked. Mm-hmm. So yeah, because he straight up asked questions like, "Well, what happens if the shop burns down?" I was like, "Well, we're covered." But you don't usually have that question asked.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, I hate to be this guy, but your one car is not my only concern if my shop was to burn down.
It is one heck of, all cars are this. Yeah.
But, I get where he's asking, but I think my worries are way bigger than that one car. But I respect what he's trying to say.
Right. Yeah, you gotta treat it. Yeah.
But no, it went good, and I'm excited for that, because as soon as I see that chassis show up, I think I'm going to be, you'll probably see my attitude change a little bit. Yeah. That it's going to be like a really long, multiple months of like Christmas for me. Like, I'm going to be so excited to start working on it.
I'm going to have to I don't know. I'm going to have to start putting lift kits in.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think for as much time as I spend at the shop now, it's going to be even worse once that car shows up. But I'm excited for it. That 37 is going to be cool. Can't wait for that. It's that chassis just doesn't look the same without the motor in it. So I'm anxious to get that put in there and start working on that. That's going to be another cool build.
How good is Jade's truck looking?
That thing is so cool, man. I love it.
Whenever I give shop tours, I'm always excited to show that truck off, just from
what it turned into.
So and we literally had, to transform it, we really had very little room to do so, because it came in semi-complete.
Yeah, quote unquote though.
Right.
It was poorly put together.
Very poorly.
And that was the 55 F100.
So it's just crazy how putting a car together right can totally transform, because when it came in, car had box, fenders, hood, everything on it. Now the truck has box, hood, fenders, everything on it, but it looks 10 times better.
Yeah. And it's crazy. Just so I've known Jade for quite a few years. I wouldn't say like we're like best friends or anything, but I've known of him, and we've done work in the past through like WestCon and stuff, and so I knew who he was, and so meeting him again after a few years and going out to his house and seeing that 55 sitting there, and you can tell, and it's crazy how you can read people. And just like I've said before, all these cars that come into our shop, even if it's a brand new one, it's always got a story. It's always got something meaning coming in with it. And you could just tell when I went out to his house and looked at his 55 and his body language and everything, it was like, here's my truck, just finish it. And that was pretty much exactly what the demeanor was. It wasn't like, hey man,
what do you think of this?
Or
this.
Like, it was, here's my truck, I want you to finish it. And looking at it already then, I knew that we had our work cut out for us. And even though it was quote unquote 3/4 of the way put together, wow. And I told him, and I was honest with him. I said,
essentially, we just had parts.
Yeah. And it was running. So I'll have to tell, that's going to be my story. That's the story of this podcast. I'll tell you that one. So going out there, looking at it, I did take the trailer with, and I told him, I said, here's the thing, Jade. I said, I got to be honest with you. For us to do something like this, we almost have to, there's a point where you almost have to take it apart, because at what point, if something would ever happen, being we're the last business to touch it, who's responsible for something that goes wrong? And if you stop and think about it, it makes total good sense, because like we can't, and that's what I told him. I said, okay, well, if we finish putting the body panels on and the bumper falls off, but you brought it to us, but the bumper's already on, so if we didn't touch it, but it was in our shop last, like, where do you draw that line? So, and I told him, I said, well, here's the thing. Let's get it in the shop. We'll get it up on the hoist. I'll call you over, and then we'll walk through and we'll come up with an agreement, but it's not how I'd like to do business. So, but you could just tell this whole time, like he wasn't like gleaming from ear to ear. He wasn't excited. He was just,
he was sour that he was just bummed that his truck got to that point.
Right.
And
but if
I won't say the amount, but he had some chunk of change invested.
He had some good chunk and change. But if Jade, he's not a man of many words anyways.
No.
But he was less at that point. And after we started talking and he told me like where he had it and how much he spent, it was insane. So I'm like, well, I brought a trailer. Let's get this thing loaded. So it's got a 2016 Coyote motor, I think.
It's got a 12. It's a Gen 1 Mustang.
Oh, it's 2012?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's got a 5-liter in it. And I was like, well, does it start? Oh, yeah. He said it starts. So I went out and I had the big trailer. And so I got it ready, and he come pulling out of his shop, and he was getting ready to pull it inside the trailer. And when they mounted the brake and pedal, like it's so close to each other, and he thought that he hit the brake pedal, but he actually hit the gas. So he come into the trailer hot. You know what I mean? Hot. Like he was hauling butt. Like dude came in extremely fast. And the only thing I knew what to do, because it didn't have a hood on it at the time, is I just like Dukes of Hazzard that right up over the motor compartment and up onto the cab. And here I am. He come in the trailer, and I panicked because I don't know what the heck am I gonna do? So I tried to like jump up over the hood, which there is no hood. So I'm thinking like, well, what the hell am I gonna do? I'm gonna land on this motor, which is running, but my face is up against the windshield, and he's looking at me, and his eyes are like that big. My face is almost up against the front windshield. I'm staring at him, and my eyes are like that big, and we just locked eyes, and I was like, holy crap.
And he's moving, and he's got maybe like 3 inches aside.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, that's crazy.
He came up that ramp hot, and I just like, I don't know what else to do, so I bailed. And he locked it, he finally got it shut down. I mean, it happens so fast.
Right.
But he got it locked down, and he's looking at me, and we're just looking through the windshield. We're looking at each other's eyes. And I was like, holy crap, Jade, coming in kind of hot, didn't you? And he's like, well, he hit the wrong pedal. And yeah, so we kind of laughed about it a little bit, but
that could have been serious.
Dude, I was shaking.
Yeah.
I was,
That's the first thing you told me when you came back to the shop.
Dude almost ran me over. Yeah, so got that out of the way. We brought the truck into the shop and got up on the lift, and we just started assessing the situation. And that truck was poorly put together. And so we brought him down, and I'm like, look, Jade, here's the thing. This is what I found that needs attention to, and this is what we found without even taking anything apart. And these are major concerns. And he just hung his head, and he was like, I know you guys will do a great job. I want it done right, and I know it sucks, and I know it's going to hurt, and I know it's going to suck the wallet, but I know that when it leaves here, it'll be done the way it should have been. And we did. We tore it all the way back down to the frame and started all over again and put it together correctly. And it's crazy because, again, if you know Jade, he's not man of many expressions or words.
Very mild-mannered.
Yeah, but every time he comes down to the shop,
He gets
he's smiling.
happier
Yeah,
and happier. He's probably came down like 4 or 5 times, and he's excited. He
And-
likes it. And I think what he is now finally realizing is that, okay, yeah, initially he probably wasn't too thrilled about us tearing it back down, but now what he's realizing is we can finish it out better than he ever imagined.
Yeah,
Being that we took it to that point.
yeah. And I know,
and he's just like, the truck looks awesome.
yeah, and I know that was because I asked him. I said, "Well, Jade, what are you thinking? Because I'm trying to pry something out of this guy. Like, talk to us." And
looks good.
Yeah, and
looks good.
But he also said and I said, well, and I showed him, like, we put our touches on certain things. Like, we did our Dakota Customs touch on certain parts of the truck, but without trying to reinvent the wheel.
Tucked short in the rear bumpers. That was, he loved that.
Tucked the bumpers and made them look better, but with the body gaps and getting the running boards to actually flow into the body lines like they're supposed to, and getting the fenders so they're actually lined up in line where they're supposed to be. But when you start pointing that out, and he stands back and he's like, this is better than what I ever dreamed of it being as a finished project. So even he is seeing the outcome of it, and yeah, that truck looks
Even
so
me
good.
too, I think I've told this to you, like, just seeing how the truck came, I was like, okay, this truck's going to look good. It'll look good. But no, the thing is made a hard right turn into looking sick.
Yeah, that thing, we put a lot of time in getting that hood to fit like it's supposed to, and redoing.
Probably one of the toughest vehicles to gap there is.
Yeah.
Ford pickups.
Yeah, and the downfall of it is we can't touch the cabin. I really would wish that we could, because it's like the box, the fenders, the front clip, all fit on this truck like it should be as a classic restoration leaving our shop. But what sucks is he did not, and he's like, right now, for what I have invested and to finish it off, we can't redo the door gaps on the cab, but something tells me that truck will be coming back when we're done to actually do that part of it. But he's going to have a ton invested just getting this truck looking how it is. But this thing is, like, even sitting there with that raw hood on it, but that thing just sits on there perfect.
Sits right.
It's a good looking. I like looking at it.
Yeah.
But he's happy, and that thing has come a long way.
He is. Seems like he's generally happy about it. Like, he's just, he's like, keep going, Rob, keep going, keep going. Like,
yeah, he's loving it. So
yeah, Cato's done. Cato, one of our, he's been with us about maybe 5 months. Has it been that long?
5-6 months, something like that.
Yeah.
And Chris.
Yeah, Chris. Yeah, they have really proven to us that they're builders. Mm-hmm. They are builders.
Yeah.
So sometimes that point isn't proven till, with some of our new hires, we always kind of, for a while there, we were just so backlogged. We needed guys, and sometimes, with employees, you kind of just got to feel them out, see how good they are. That just like with anything, and see what they're made of. And we put that truck in front of them guys, and they killed it right off the bat.
Yeah, you got to see where they're where they shine and where their dedication is at. Because
Yeah, you got to find their strengths and weaknesses. Everybody has those. Yeah.
because definitely it's needed in a shop like ours to work.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exciting to see that that 55 coming together. And even when we had that shop tour with those people that came in, that card club, I think they really even appreciated that truck. It seemed like they were taking a lot of pictures of that thing.
Really?
And, yeah. So it's going to be a cool ride. And speaking of that truck, like we've been working on that 53 F100 of the customer from the cities. And that thing's really starting to come along too. It seems like that thing is endless of sheet metal work though, but we're doing a lot to that.
Well,
I mean, we're doing a lot.
we are doing a lot. I mean, it's not just going to be a perfectly assembled truck. It's going to be a perfect custom truck. It's going to be very massaged from factory with all the metal that we've added and stuff like that, and all the hidden door hinges and Kindig handles and it being notched and stuff like that. So anytime you do frame modifications, it affects the rest of the body panel fitment. So it's just labor of love, man.
Yeah. And we're changing pretty much every square inch of sheet metal on that truck. We're either touching
We
or
had to.
changing something on it. So
Yeah.
it's going to look good, but
Yeah.
hopefully that thing will be moving over into the body shop here in a few months to start putting some mud on it. But
Yeah.
we'll see that Cutlass. That thing is looking, man, that Cutlass is looking awesome. That thing's about ready for primer here, hopefully by beginning of the week. But
Yep.
that thing is just looking even with the
Say
little bit of final mud on that thing, just to take in some of the imperfections. That thing is just looking just gorgeous. It's straight. It's
To say that car has came a long ways is an understatement.
especially when a car that should have been crushed.
Should have been that should have no longer been a vehicle. And do I use the term resurrected?
Probably.
Yeah. It probably should have been crushed the first time someone tried to do it.
Yeah. And, and that's what's bad is having that conversation with a customer that spent a good chunk of change buying that car. And then after we stripped it down, it was to a point where that it's like, hey, I think we should actually probably have crushed this car and actually started over because it was so far gone. That car was so far gone, and just everything about it that just, it was, I mean, telling the customer it wasn't even worth to invest into it anymore. But at that point, you have so much invested, and he's got memories with that car already that you're just committed. So it was a lot to fix the things that were wrong with that car. And I think it's going to be a really cool looking Cutlass.
Yeah, with the deep black cherry that we're putting on it with the long body lines, and there's kind of 3 body lines. I think 2 or 3 body lines along the sides of that car. It's going to just really have a lot of different angled surfaces where that black cherry is just going to look killer. And there's it's a long car. You can call it a body GM car if anybody knows how those cars are, like your first gen Chevelles and stuff like that. You lay some good paint on those body panels and
Yeah,
have a cool car.
Even for a 2-door car, I mean, it's a long car, so it takes so much to get it right. And then painting that black cherry, you got to definitely put in your time. And I'm actually really excited to see that thing go in that rotisserie and start laying some paint on it, because that thing is just going to look gorgeous. We've done a lot of sheet metal work to that thing too. Tucking the bumpers, and with that awesome pure red interior that car is gonna just be sexy.
I was just gonna say I got that nice interior in our showroom that's going in that car, and every once in a while I get to look away from my computer and I see my eyes on that red interior. I'm like, let's go, guys.
Yeah,
come on. I want to see that interior in the car.
Yeah, it's gonna look good. It's gonna be a nice match. So we'll have to stay tuned and take some pictures. And get them posted out there so people can see it, see the
Definitely.
progress. I don't know if we've done pictures on that one for a little bit yet, but
Well, it just the two stages that car was in between sheet metal and body work. It's like you can only take so many pictures.
Yeah.
And they just
and it's all steps that are important and
Oh, you
take
gotta
so
be done, but
much
it's like,
time. But
yeah.
taking a picture and showing it, like people don't understand. But when it's crazy when customers come in and just like that gentleman here, what was it, Monday with the fire or Wednesday with the Firebird?
yeah.
And it's like, how much for a paint job? And we told him, and he looks at and he's like, what? And then you break it down and it's like the process and how much time and everything. You start labeling it, and all of a sudden he's like, okay, now I understand.
Yeah.
It's not a 2-week scuff and shoot. I mean, it's months to paint a vehicle at the shop. But
It's so funny the concept he had in his head, because he came from Denver and he got a quote to have that car painted in Denver. He's like, well, I just, I thought I was going to a small town. It'd be cheaper. And I was like, how does that work? Paint job's a paint job. A quality paint job's a quality paint job. I don't care where you're at.
All right. Well, and it's we got that 69 Rally Sport coming that came in our shop last week.
Z28?
That Z28.
Yeah.
And same thing there too. We're doing a paint job on it, and he called, I think, every single body shop in North Dakota and got a quote. And honestly, we were the only company that actually showed up and went to his house and looked at it, which was me, and that's why we got the job. But he says, I'll tell you guys right now, you weren't the cheapest by far. But I think he's realizing as he stops in and sees the process and the progress that we're doing on this car, he's realizing why we charge what we charge and why we tell him the time frame that we tell, because there is multiple steps and there's a lot that goes into when we do cars like that.
Yeah. I think at this point, we put out enough quality projects. People know the kind of work we do. And so for a while there, I'll have to, relay to people that, hey, we are not, I'll say it, we're probably one of the most expensive shops in town. Now people know that before I even say it, and that's not a decision. That's not a deciding factor anymore. Mm-hmm. They just want us to work on their car. Mm-hmm. So, which is cool. You get to that certain level of a reputation for a shop in the industry we're in, and it's nice because then less people are questioning us why we're so expensive, and people know why we're so expensive. Well,
Yeah.
they're gonna get something cool.
And I would say not really more expensive, but we're just affordable because we do charge for what we do, and it comes with, if you want to pay for quality, and that's, you expect quality, you're going to pay for quality. And
Yeah,
that's just
exactly.
Like
it's not, I want to say, yeah, exactly.
I want to
Maybe I
say that
misspoke
we're-
with expensive.
I wouldn't say we're just so expensive, but we, like I said, it's a difference if you charge X amount for a paint job and you can do a car like that in a month. Then, but for us, like that same exact process takes us, I'll bet you we'll have 4 to 5 months easy on the exact same beginning to end. That's why we charge so much, is because we do so many multiple steps.
Yeah.
We do way more processes to get that car looking. I mean, just like, again, like I was going through even, doing the final touch of the body work on there. I mean, we sand that with 4 to 5 different stages before it even goes into primer.
It shows.
And then once it gets out of primer, then we wet sand it with 3 to 4 different stages of sandpaper to get that thing so it is like glass. Then you paint it, then you clear it. Then there's 3 or 4 or 5 stages that we go through, wet sanding it, buffing it, and then we put the car together. And then there's still final polishing and cut and buff at the end. And that's when you start. And that's the process towards the end of getting ready to be painted. Not everything prior to get to that point. So again, you got to kind of, it's not that we're expensive, but I feel like we offer a way better product because we do so much more. We don't just sand it like a lot of places. They'll skip, half of that process and hurry up and paint it just to get it out the door. Well, we don't. We take the extra steps and what it needs to get that paint job.
Yeah, it's like that that gentleman with that Firebird, and he pulled up in 2 cars down. The sun was shining on Leroy's, and we just got that thing back from. It wasn't like ceramic coating; it was just like a nice wax job put on it. He's like, "I want my Firebird to look like that." This is exactly what he said. I was like,
Well,
okay,
that's what you get.
Yeah, I was like, "Okay, well,
Yeah.
this is the price then."
Yeah.
So, and honestly, I've had, I deal with every sort of question when people are shopping around because they're shopping. They need to know. So people are like, well, geez, your labor rates are less than other shops. How come you're more expensive? It's like, because we're more involved. It's more of a process. We spend more time on it. We're going to have more hours. Straight up. We're going to have more hours into it.
All right.
So,
well, and that's why what's nice too is while we do projects like this, we invite the customers down, we show them, we take pictures, we send them to them so they can constantly see what's being done on their car so they can justify why, again, when they ask that question and why we're working on their vehicle, they can understand why, the multiple steps that go into it. So, every day it's learning. And again, customers don't know that. And that's what you have to try to school them and explain to them so they understand what they're actually paying for.
you just got to give them an understanding. You're not
Right.
schooling them. You're not teaching them. They don't know.
Right.
Like sometimes on the tail end of making, especially with new powertrains, on the tail end of these things, it takes a little bit of time to work out the bugs. We're essentially putting a new vehicle back on the road. Well, people are like, well, geez, my truck was done, or my vehicle was done, 4 months ago, and you guys still have it. It's like, okay, how do you know this process?
Yeah.
But anyways, so you just kind of,
the fine tuning takes a lot.
it
too.
does.
It's to make sure everything.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is you're taking
But
20, 30 different manufacturers and you're putting it all together and making it all work.
yeah, you're not just throwing all GM parts together, all Ford parts together. It's like each individual part that makes this vehicle run and drive like it should was engineered from 20 different companies. It wasn't a team of engineers trying to put a vehicle together. It's like there was 20 different teams of engineers now with what we're working with.
Yeah.
So
It just all takes time. But
yeah, so
people understand. So again, stay tuned. We'll be posting pictures of that too that you could check out.
everything.
So yeah.
But are you gonna end it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say something real quick.
Sure.
So Wednesday we had a little contest,
Oh jeez.
a little burger contest, and Amy, this might fall back on you a little bit, but at the vote count, you ended up edging me out 5-4 initially, and then my dad voted, and he voted for my burger, but Amy told him which burger was mine.
Well, I think he knew. He was your dad, for crying out loud. Of course he knows.
My dad texted me saying that. Amy told me.
No, I
Yeah,
no.
I could totally see your dad doing that because I know your dad, and he would
Character.
not. He is a character. He would not put on their B by far just out of the whim unless he knew that was his boy's burger. So I feel like there's some shenanigans there. Also, I feel like, so with that by far vote from your dad, which was, I don't know if we'll count out as official or not, but I'm just saying, just because you put in a piece of paper doesn't mean that it's
No.
legit.
So what?
So now that evens us out. But you guys still should have voted too, because there was people.
We would have known who that was.
Still, you could have voted who's everyone you liked. Didn't matter.
Mary would have voted for yours. I would have voted for Rob's.
See, but then it would have been tied again. So
So I was gonna basically not give the trophy up, but I was gonna say you can put that trophy on your desk. But do we need a true tiebreaker around?
we have to. You
Okay.
can't just.
Okay.
Tell Bob
Yeah.
something.
You yeah.
Bob's like a top 50.
Yeah.
You can't
Amazing.
give out a trophy when there's a tie and there's no participation.
That's
So
right.
there has to be an actual winner.
That's right.
So we will figure out what we're gonna do next. We might even instead of doing a cook-off, we might even just go bowling, and whoever gets the best will win the trophy or something different. Like we'll figure it out to see who
That
actually.
was a lot cooking the burgers.
Dude, it was, but I loved it. It was
yeah,
fun.
it was fun. Yeah, it was. I had a good time.
We'll actually have to get together and do that, and actually invite customers and actually have like an appreciation, and we'll grill our burgers and we'll just do it. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
If
Actually,
RJ votes Vicky. Hey, RJ, remember who writes up your bills?
yeah. Then I'll be like, hey, do you remember who does not send them to your wife?
Yeah.
So
that
there
goes
you go.
long. That probably carries more weight. Yeah.
So, anyways, hey, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Again, check us out. Listen on 1270 AM Super Talk radio station, and you can check us out on YouTube. Again, leave comments. Anything you want to talk about, leave comments. Or any questions, we'll get back to you on it. Also, Dakota Customs with a K and a Z.com. Check out our website, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Like our stuff. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Good time. See you guys.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to Unriveted Radio. Also available on demand with the SuperTalk 1270 mobile app. Download in the App Store or Google Play today. Unriveted Radio, presented by Dakota Customs, a full-service custom garage on the Strip in Mandan.
This program has been paid for by